Keep holding on. Let's sing a song full of hope, full of pain. Why don't you sing along, my friend? For it's our last refrain. Forever young, ever strong, ever brave. Memories like this never end. No, they don't fade away. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun. Close to the sun. Let's sing a song full of hope, full of pain. Why don't you sing along, my friend? For it's our last refrain. Forever young, ever strong, ever brave. Memories like this never end. No, they don't fade away. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun. Close to the sun. Here's to the ones who let shine through the rain, the ones who stood for something more. We won't forget your names. The tide is high, say goodbye, we set it sail, and all those midnight secrets told, we'll take them to the grave. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun.
All right. So I think I'm live. I think my mic is working, maybe kind of, sort of. Let me know if you can hear me, because clearly I've been having technical difficulties. Let me know if you can hear me. That sounds like I got it. I have to tell you right now, I do have bronchitis. I'm on the back end of it, so I don't sound my best right now. But so let me get you a little background here. I joined YouTube and exploring like the great debate, quote unquote, probably since like 2014ish. About then is when I started, and I would say that, like, with my introductions, one of my early introductions to that was Hangout, hosted by Nadia, Nadia used to hang out and have like these 24/7 hangouts where people would shuffle in and kind of cut their teeth. And I was new to this hockey rink that we call the YouTube sphere. And I was incredibly naive. I was a Christian who believed that, I kind of wanted to explore ideas and kind of pick the brains, particularly of atheists, because at the time my brother was an atheist, and I feel I feel like I feel like that, like it's really tough to explore ideas without family really, you know, getting at each other's throats. And so it was really interesting to kind of pick the brains of other atheists and go, well, for me as a theist, it was baffling to believe that there was no God, because like it just wasn't something that I'd ever even considered. And so I was just like in shock. And so I explored this stuff with other people. Well, one of the many people in Nadia's Hangouts was Jason Aragoff, and I knew him as Revelation News. And my first experience with Revs was really positive. He was kind to me, and he was generally kind to most people, but and he would try to focus on encouragement. A couple things I didn't appreciate about him was he pushed Christian unity despite real unhealth. So, for instance, if Christian Hillbilly came in and was attacking Nadia's personhood, and saying, like, you're really a man, you're going to hell and stuff like that. And if I was to push back on that as another Christian, I was showing disloyalty and disunity within the body of Christ. And so I would get into these scuffles with Christian Hillbilly, Veckel, G-Man, and I would get really frustrated, and I tend to be snarky and sarcastic, and sometimes to make a point. And Rev would get a little bit frustrated with me because he believed that you had to circle the wagons, and that if you had a disagreement, you had to Matthew 19 that disagreement. Matthew 19 is a passage in the Bible where it says if you have a disagreement with your brother, you don't bring it to it, publicly, but you go to the brother in private. And that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way, only because I've worked in church, for several years, and I know that Matthew 19 is severely abused, and we could go on and on. I mean to do at some point a video on how destructive the abuse of Matthew 19 actually is. But he would preach unity, 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 and that was like his big thing. And he would, when I got into a scuffle with Veckel, he'd get really upset, and he'd kind of like, and he was usually really sweet to me in DMs and stuff. And he'd be like, listen, sister, I know that you're frustrated, and I know, sister, that, you're struggling, but you need to understand that when you can't fight like this in front of atheists. And I'm like, I will fight with what's publicly said publicly. So if something is wrong publicly, I will address it publicly. And that's my attitude. One of the biggest sins in church, in my opinion, is things like the Catholic Church, where there's been public sins of priests molesting children under their care. Even sins like Cy Bergenkate taking advantage of vulnerable women in his church. I think that is a public sin, because you are in a public position, and I do think that like it can be addressed publicly. I'm sorry, but that's kind of part of the deal. So we used to have like a bumping of heads here and there, but like for the most part, my relationship with Rev was actually quite positive. My understanding with Rev was that he was a man who was struggling with grief. He had lost his mother, and for whatever hurt in the background, at some point, he he lost his dad. And I think maybe he doesn't address this but maybe that is the bigger impact for him than his mother's death. I often wonder, just as an outside observer. But like my general thing with Rev was generally really positive, and there was kindness between us at one point. What I didn't see in Rev at the time was racism. I guess maybe I was blind to it, or I just didn't see it overtly. Maybe he had a stop at that time. I'm not sure, but like he didn't seem like he had that in him. Another thing I didn't know about him, I mean, I did know after knowing him for about a year, I realized that he was a severe alcoholic. And I remember pulling him aside and trying to talk to him about it and say, listen, maybe you can get these resources, these help, but you probably need to reach out outside of yourself, outside of just the Bible, outside of God, and maybe go to AA or see a counselor or something. And I would try to push for that, and that was met with extreme hostility. And I think part of it was he tells a story, and I think Vane hit on it. Vane says, dude lost his mind a decade ago when the state kidnapped him and took his firearms. He still thinks staff at the psych facility saw him levitate. I think we're headed for another. He used to be involved in prophecy and end times and stuff like that. And I have a theory about end times prophecy being a really bad, unhealthy thing to focus on. But he had a whole podcast that was actually quite successful at the time. Actually, he's not lying when he said he has a successful prophecy podcast. He absolutely did. There was some signs of mental unhealth, and his friends who knew him in real life got worried, and they called the state on him. He was taken on a psych hold. He never seemed to regain trust from friends after that. How do I know this? Because he's told me that multiple times, and he even says it in the interview on my channel that when his friends put him on a psych hold, he had a severe problem with that. Mental health is like a super serious thing. I actually don't think it's funny. I think that I struggle with mental health. I understand the difficulties with that. I think mental health requires more than just your Bible, more than just Jesus, more than just people enabling you. I think you actually need to do some work, and it's hard, and sometimes it requires medication. But for whatever reason, he had a huge mistrust of psychology and was really bitter about it all. Fast forward, things seemed to escalate a little more in drinking and Nadia's hangouts. I noticed a lot more hostility. I remember one incident, Nadia was having an issue where she had gone into some sort of weird diabetic shock thing. And I was an observer at the time, and I was watching the hangout on the outside, like much like you guys are watching this right now. And I went, oh my God, like nobody's helping her. She's like, looks like she's passing out on the ground and nobody's fucking helping her. And the people were just clueless or not paying attention or thought, oh, this is just how Nadia is. And I remember jumping in the hangout trying to help her. And I was pretty much being a bad cop. I was like, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this, and pushing. And people were yelling at me and telling me to stop it. And I was like, no, like this is serious. And then one of my friends hopped in and was, she's super sweet and kind. And so like, I was able to push the mean side, and she was able to, kind of coddle her and give her some titty. And for whatever reason, it worked. We got her to check her blood pressure. She ended up getting checked out. Turns out her, or not her blood pressure, her blood sugar. Sorry, I'm a little delusional still from being sick. So they checked her blood, not her blood, or blood sugar, and it was dangerously low, like really bad. So she ended up getting medical help. And I remember I had mods at the time because I had mods to hop in and out of the channel. And I remember Reb was so hostile and so drunk and being so dumb, and he was so anti, like, don't bring the government involved in this. Don't you dare call the cops. Don't you dare do a wellness check. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch somebody die in live stream. And like, he was such an encumbrance to that process. I booted him from the hangout because he was screaming at me. And I was like, okay, oh fuck no. And so I removed him. And that's kind of when I realized that Reb had a massive problem drinking. Like, I knew it was before. I mean, I knew like there's a lot of people with drinking problems online. But at that time I knew it was really, really serious. So I guess for whatever reason, I am a little bit of an optimist. I didn't know that Reb was as weird as he is. And I am always shocked that no Christians seem to pull him aside and call him on his bullshit. So I'm going to play a video that Reb just recently put out that I found disturbing. And there were other videos that also he said similar things I find disturbing. And I think somebody needs to say something to him. And it seems like no Christian will. So a Christian deist or a fake Christian or whatever you want to call me, I will. I don't care. So I am going to show a video and then I'm going to address it as soon as I figure out which one it is. Ah, here it is. Okay. I'm so professional. I'm going to share it. Okay, share. We want to share with audio this time so we won't fail. And we're going to select the right video.
So I guess you can continue recording after this bullshit. I don't know. I don't know if that just destroyed my video. I started over again. Probably did, because what a piece of shit phone I have. So if all of that video's gone, I have to start over again. So yeah, this video's for Jules. Jules tells all, I want to thank you for the money that you sent, because you're a compassionate individual. When I make a video about needing $8 for a pack of fucking cigarettes, and when I've helped the community out, and everybody knows I've helped people, the dog shit, piece of shit, asshole comments I get on my fucking videos when I help this community out, you can all fucking be buried and die. How's that?
Okay, I want to address that first comment. Oh, wow, what a mouthful that is. Okay, this is over them recently saying that they've been robbed, that they lost their key fobs, that they're in a really hard place. They want us to donate them money, and people have questions. So one is, how did you spend your money? Rev, you supposedly had a lot of money, and we clearly have seen that you've lived a lifestyle recently, ever since you've been with Shani, that has been decadent and ridiculous and a black hole of consumption. And we see that you overspent for a PS5. We see that you smoke pot every day, and that is bloody expensive. I know, I'm in California. And we know a lot of things. So like, we watch you guys consume DoorDash every day. And so when you're asking for money, we have questions. One is, you say you were robbed, and then you say that the people that watched you robbed you. Okay, we have lots of questions about that. Two, you say that you were robbed and your key fobs were stolen. And I'm like, I happen to know that you guys are absolutely complete trashy slobs. I've seen the videos where you slip and show the video of your bathroom. I've seen when you slip and show videos of your bedroom other than the background. I've seen the arrest footage of Shani in a previous apartment, and what mounds of trash and clothes you guys had around in that place. It doesn't shock me that you lost your key fobs. How dare you assume somebody stole them when you're a complete idiot? So it didn't shock me later that they found the key fobs under some trash. Shocker. I'm so shocked. So like that right there, I have lots of questions. Like, why should we give you for money for something that didn't actually happen? Also, supposedly you got robbed, which I still don't see much proof of. And you admit that the robbery is your fault for leaving a garage door open because snow came in 2 feet and you couldn't be bothered to ever buy a shovel, even though you live in fucking Boulder, Colorado, to shovel the snow and shut the garage door. All this is really problematic and we have a lot of questions. So when somebody gives money, it doesn't matter how charitable they are or anything like that. Like if somebody gets money, you kind of want to know what they're doing with it, right? So I had no problem giving to Faithful for God. Faithful for God um, is accountable for his money. He was upfront with his money. He had a death in the family. His father died. His sister had a massive heart attack. His mother was severely ill. He had all these family obligations to take care of. He was completely swamped. We got it. We understood. And he was willing to show receipts, even be like, this is what I'm doing with the money. This is how I'm paying my bills. And we're like, okay, bro, we got it. I had surgery, gosh, I would say 2015, I think it was. I had a severe infection in my face. At the time, we had Google Plus in our community. Came together and they found out that I was actually very seriously ill. And then one of the Canadians, Gus, and one of the folks in the UK, Annabelle, were like, this is ridiculous. People in the United States should not be like suffering with physical ailments and, you know, making themselves severely ill over something like money, especially when it's really not relatively expensive. So they came to me. I didn't ask them. They came to me and said, we would like to help you. We understand that you're really sick with a abscess tooth that turned into a infection in your face, and it's really painful, and you're fighting off an infection. It was like Dragnot, it was Annabelle, it was Gus, and there were some Christians that gave, like Tommy Hall, people that I fought with. I fought famously with Tommy Hall all the time. And, you know, he did show me a kindness at that point. Rev may or may not have given. I don't particularly remember him in that situation. But I do know that it was largely atheist led, and they approached me, and it was kind of them. I felt very touched and I cried. And what I did was I said, look, I will promise that I will pay this forward. And I did. I made sure I paid that forward. And I still pay it forward to this day. But what I look for when I give to charity isn't somebody that I think is going to go buy another PS5. I look for people that actually have an actual need. Recently, our community came together. We got a wheelchair for somebody just a couple months ago. So if you think we're stingy and nasty, and you think people like Dragnet are stingy and nasty, like, we got a wheelchair for somebody. We helped somebody. Faithful for God, we got his family to pay off some bills, some serious hard work. Like you know, like this stuff, like it matters absolutely. When you tell me you're in dire straits, I'm looking at it going, I'm worried about your kids, but you, sir, you need to get a job. So anyway, this whole you can be buried and die thing, that's unkind, Rev, and that's stupid. I gave money so you can be buried and die. Does that mean because I gave money, I've given over at least $2,000? I'm not a rich person. Am I somebody that now needs to go around telling people they need to die if they decide they don't want to give me money? No, it doesn't work that way, Rev. It fucking doesn't work that way, you idiot. So anyway, it's just upsetting to watch this, because like he used to be like, Jesus bless you, God bless you, and try to give quietly, and now he's like, you fucking owe me, I'm entitled. And I'm just like, who are you? You are not the person I thought you were 5 years ago. What has changed in you besides Shani? And I have a lot of questions with that, and it's completely strange. It's bizarre to me. So on their 20-hour stream that did not download, that they made, and they said all sorts of horrible stuff. On the 20-hour stream, I slid into the live chat and I confronted Rev and I said, Rev, you need to get a job. You can't just play dad. You have to get a job and work. He did have investments, he did have spending, but the enormous amount of consumerism that we witnessed live has consumed it. It has consumed the little bit of money that he had, because he used to live like a miser. Let me tell you, Rev was also different before Shanny. He used to live like a miser. He would be generous towards people, but he didn't repair his house. He didn't really spend a lot. He really lived a very modest life from what we could tell. He didn't seem like he was into the newest gadgets. He did have a nice microphone, but other than that, like he wasn't this consumption machine that you're seeing today. So so it was weird to see this kind of change. So in the live chat, I said, how come you don't have a job? And he says, I want to get my pot card. I'm like, well, how come you haven't gotten it yet? And then they said, well, he's too sick to work. And I said, well, how come is he too sick to work? And they said, well, Rev has lung problems. And I said, okay. And I'm thinking like that lung problem that you have will be stopped if you stop smoking for 3 months. Ask any doctor to stop smoking. And he's telling me, I have asthma, by the way. I had COVID in June. I have asthma. I currently have bronchitis right now, and I'm on the back end of it after 5 weeks of being sick with this nonsense. And I can tell you right now, he's barking up the wrong tree when he's telling me that he can't work and he has lung problems, because guess what? I have lung problems and I work. So bullshit. I call bullshit on that. Complete bullshit. Nobody's saying that you have to shovel snow with like your lung problems, but you can definitely be a pot barista or whatever they call them with your lung problems. And so I'm just like mind blown, like, okay, so you have lung problems. So I said, you know what, Rev, I have lung problems. I manage the work. And you know what he said to me? And it was caught on Drag's replay. He says to me, fuck you, Deidre. Fuck you. I can't wait. And he starts screaming because, he has lung problems. I can't wait for Judgment Day. And I'm just like, wow, this man who believes in hell and eternal torment, right? Eternal conscious torment. He believes people that are evil are going to go to hell and be eternally separated into a lake of fire. He cannot wait for somebody that he once called a friend to go burn in the lake of fire. Out of all the horrible things I've said to Shanny, like I say, Shanny, oh, like you are incredibly toxic, or Rev, you clearly have mental problems, you need to get help, right? These quote unquote horrible things. I have never wished eternal torture on these people. It's just insane to me. Like, if they really truly believe about internal torture, that they think that their little petty arguments are worth sending somebody to hell over. What a piece of garbage. Anyway, I'm going to keep playing. I just clicked the wrong button. Let me get back.
Because I was charitable always with folks when I had money. And so is Shanny. And I need a little help for fucking a couple fucking cigarettes and the shit I get.
Why should I help you for cigarettes if that's impeding your ability to work? If you have lung problems, cigarettes is like the last thing you need, buddy. I'm just saying, like it actually is doing you harm to buy cigarettes.
It's disgusting, despicable horseshit. But I want to thank Jules, and this rant is brought to you today by the Reverend Dude, courtesy of Revelation News. You understand? And I'm just saying this right now, that I appreciate Jules having compassion on an individual. You don't know how bad I was jonesing, man. So this is phenomenal, and you helped me massively. So thank you. But I'm going to tell you something. It's like there's no breaks, man. And people came to me so much. I need this, I need that, and I was there, man. I did it. You know, I helped, and to get this fucking shit of just get a job, get a job. No shit, get a job. I'm not stupid. I know I have to get a job. I have to sort these things out though. It just doesn't happen like that. Everybody's telling me drive Uber, drive this, drive Grubhub, drive that. What if I don't want to drive? I mean, this is
What if I don't want to work? Oh my God, it's so hard. Rev, have you ever had a real job? I know that you said, your mom died, you had investments, but have you ever worked for the man? Have you ever had a boss and a paycheck? And like, have you ever had to time punch? I don't think you have. I think that silver spoon got ripped right out of your mouth and you don't know what to do. You're scared. Well, welcome to reality. This is going to be a harsh lesson for somebody that's what, pushing 40. Good luck with that.
an amazing car and it's a good thing, and I mean it is a good idea. But what if I'm not the 24/7 driving type with these fucking face masks? When you're working, you have to use that cunt mask every fucking second you're working.
That cunt mask. Oh my God.
I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack for this bullshit. Yeah, I live in the great state of Colorado. It's amazing, great state. But again, I give a shout out and love and coolness to Jules. Man, I appreciate you. But I mean, like, I guess, like, stoner streams are like technically against TOS of YouTube. Because I was reading TOS, it's like tobacco products are banned. All that you can't monetize if you're smoking a freaking cigarette. So I mean, a lot of my videos are demonetized, aren't they? That is what it is, and it's okay. But look, I do want to make money, but it's like I'm going to be demonized every time. I mean,
Okay, so Rev, I think the problem is that it's cool if you want to make money on YouTube as a side gig, but you're just not that special or great to make it as your main gig. I'm gonna be real. Like you might actually want to, if you don't want to be homeless, you might actually want to get a real job, and this can be your side gig, your side hustle, like the rest of us. It's very few people that actually make it big as their main gig and can actually make it work. And when they do, they're a complete slave to what their viewers want. And that is not what you want. I know that's not what you want because you fuck them off every second at the same time. So, because you can't play those games, I would say you probably need a real job, and this can be your side hustle or side gig or your hobby or whatever. Think of it this way. St. Paul was a tent maker. St. Paul wasn't just a preacher that said, pay me in the Bible. He was a tent maker. He made money making tents with Priscilla and Aquila. Now, did people probably give to him? Absolutely. That's kind of how the Acts Church was. But like, it's not like he said, oh, I just need to be paid for my very existence. So just a thought. I don't know.
I'm demonized for everything now, and it's just since I've been with Shannon. Like when I was in prophecy, I got along with everybody in prophecy, man. Steve Quayle called me up like a dad one time on the phone. Steve Quayle, he calls me up and he's like, yeah, you better get your money out of the stock market and put it in gold and buy it off of Only Me. And yeah, I had that talk with Steve Quayle. If you don't know who Steve Quayle is, Jules, look him up. He's a big conspiracy guy. And we were friends. I'm friends with Doug Hagman. I know Gary Stearman. I'm friends with Trey Smith, the guy did the theory of everything.
I think this is where I was like super naive with Rev. Like I'd be like, yeah, he's in conspiracies, but it's not that weird. I would say if somebody's into that much conspiracy and that deep into end times prophecy and focused on the end of the world and just can't wait until God comes and destroys the world and rebuilds it, and millions of people die in Armageddon. I'm a little bit concerned. This is David Koresh territory. Just saying.
Video, and he's huge on YouTube. Trey Smith, God in a Nutshell Project. I'm personal friends with him. I mean, I got along with people. A cool lighter. The clippers are the shit, man, because they give you a roller in there too that sticks in the top of it. And you got a lighter with a roller. It's real nice. Clipper lighters. I got a gold one. I love it. But the point is here that are we allowed to have any success? Are we allowed to? Like, that's the question here. Are we allowed to have success? Because every single thing that we do is painted as a negative thing. It's very triggering and horrible to live like that. Oh, your keys are missing. No, you're lying. Oh, you need money. No, you're lying. You're just scamming people. Like, do you realize what it's like to live like that?
You realize what it's like to live with accountability? Yes, that's how we all live. We all live with accountability. What is wrong with you?
Where everything you do is scrutinized and picked apart, and this is a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, this is a lie. Everything in your life is a fucking lie. Do you realize how bad it is to live that fucking existence?
He's got his
that's
serious eyes,
guys.
Serious
a lot of
eyes.
these celebrities live that. They say, well, I gave money to St. Jude's because I support St. Jude's and I love St. Jude's and I want to take care of kids with cancer. And then the same person is told, no, you didn't do that for that reason. You did that for clout. You did that to make people think you're a good person. Like Jeffree Star does tons of fucking charity. And he's canceled. Why is Jeffree Star canceled? Well, because he's weird or something. No, what I hear of Jeffree Star is very charitable individual. He's different. And he's very rich. And the rich are demonized too.
The rich are demonized.
You know, me and my wife.
I have to say something. One thing I have noticed about Rev long term is he is in love with being rich. And I find that interesting. It's interesting to me. Like, there is like a reason why he voted Trump. And a lot of it has to do with money. And also, like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Jeffree Star is a creep. Absolutely, 100%. But I find it interesting that he has such a love boner for the rich and things that really, they tell us, do not store up. So the Bible says, do not store up in this world treasures, because where your treasure is, there your heart will be. So it talks about, not storing up gold and stuff like that and focusing on that thing. And I think that's why, you know, preachers like Joel Osteen and stuff like that are under fire from other preachers that believe differently. And, you know, Joel Osteen's argument is, you know, but God loves the rich. And maybe God loves rich or poor, it doesn't matter. But like it is pretty counterintuitive with Christianity to say that you need to focus on riches. So I find that really odd.
They made a big deal out of me being a millionaire, which was never true. That was never true. My net worth was approaching $1 million with my inheritance, and then I kept the money and grew it myself after my mother's death. You want to tell me I haven't earned money myself? You're fucking full of shit. I kept the money in the investment account and I made money.
That's not a job. That's called investing. Like, that's not like a full-time job. I want to see you work for somebody. I want to see you learn a trade. Actually be self-sufficient. It sounds like you ran into money that was earned by family members that actually earned it. You didn't do shit for it. You happen to have it already in investment accounting, and then you're saying, I earned money. I do work. And I'm sorry, but it doesn't quite work that way. For one, we all know that investment in the stock market is risky. And two, we know that, you know, you can put a lot of money in investments, but most people that do that also have a job at the same time. And even then, like, it always blew my mind too, because you have this investment, you have this freedom, you have this time. And I remember asking you at one point, like, why aren't you volunteering somewhere at the very least? Like, you can meet people, you could meet a nice girl. This is the time he was single. You can meet a nice girl, you can meet friends, and you were just like so consumed with social anxiety and being this weirdo that lives in the house alone in the dark and screams on the internet. And it was just so weird because you had this opportunity to actually say, oh, you know what, I don't have to work, but I can serve a ministry in person. And you never took it. You just did this online nonsense.
Myself. And then I gained a family. And when you're taking care of 2 kids as opposed to a bachelor, me alone, and I got with Shanny, and then I inherit a family. Bachelor.
All right, I'm going to rewind that because this is what really got me. This is why I'm here, actually. Okay, gained a family. Let's going to play it back. Okay, so he's got an investment and he's a bachelor. Life is good. And then what is happening?
I made money myself. And then I gained a family. And when you're taking care of 2 kids as opposed to a bachelor, me alone, and I got with Shanny, and then I inherit a family, and then you lose your money because kids eat your money up. It's not anything Shanny did. It's not anything I did with riotous living.
Okay. All right. All right. Listen to me, Rev, right now. The worst things that you said on that 20-hour stream, you said some pretty horrendous things to Shanny. Shanny's pretty horrendous to you. She's incredibly humiliating and degrading to you and disgusting to you. You say horrendous things to you. You eat a chili chip and overreact and act like a pussy and say, I hope you fucking die to her, and then generally horrendous. But she's calling you baby dick, carrot dick in chat, and just generally abusive back to you and inciting you, whatever. This is not my fault, and this is not Shanny's fault, but children are expensive. The kids are where the money went. Don't you know how expensive it is to raise a family? You said that, what, 2 or 3 times in that 20-hour stream, and you said it nastily. And I'm thinking, I really hope one of those boys doesn't hear you. I really hope one of those boys doesn't hear you. Listen to me. When you asked me way back when you and Shani were talking before you were together, and we were on YouTube, and you were in my DMs, and you said, Deidre, I swear I didn't do anything with Shani. And I'm like, dude, she is calling you David, and she is your Bathsheba. Dude, she's married to Crystal. What is going on? Like, this is not what Christians are supposed to do. And you said, I swear, Deidre, I swear, we aren't doing anything. She's just, I don't know, she's mentally disturbed and crazy. What should I do? I said to you, oh, I would do what pastors do, and that is when you're dealing with somebody that's volatile and disturbed, you want to not be alone with them, because like if they think there's a romantic interest and they're not romantically interested, you don't want to make it complicated by making them think there's a romantic interest. So maybe you aren't the one to help Shani directly. I gave that advice. He kind of like fucked her off for a bit. She had meltdowns and streams and streams and streams, and would waffle between chasing after G-Man and chasing after Rev, and then all of a sudden he like was like, that's it. I need to do the right thing. Chris was horrible to her and left this woman destitute with these 2 children. I'm gonna man up. And he does this thing that I think is truly influenced by the Old Testament, which is this idea of like, it's noble for a man in the Old Testament to take care of widows and children, right, that are in trouble. So in his mind, he decides that he wants to take care of Shani, and this widow. This is how he presented it to me, like this widow and these struggling children. And he's gonna man up and be the dad and be like the husband and the rescuer of these people. And I'm like, okay, fair enough, but whatever. And so, he's just like, fuck you guys, and me and Shani, and then the degrading happens, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And we see him get worse and worse and worse. Eventually he has seizures. She says she knows how to medically help him get off of alcohol. He has severe seizures, gets wet-brained and out of his mind for months. And never really has fully recovered. Like he must have lost some capacity there, because he's always been way more feelings at the sleeve, at the cuff flying off the handle, less rational. I'm more erratic than ever. And I think some of it might have been due to coming off of the alcohol the way he did. I think his brain got a little bit toasted from that. But that being said, Shani is just this ball of consumerism, this ever growing massive, super massive black hole that just sucks it in. And so like watching those two has been both sad, amusing, and kind of hard to watch sometimes. So like I have to take breaks. But I think the hardest thing is seeing Rev degrade into this person. But here's the thing, Rev, you don't get to play rescuer and dad and not actually have the responsibilities of being dad. You can't have the title of dad or father or husband and not actually take that on. It doesn't work that way. So you might try to DoorDash your way through dinner and not actually make these kids dinner. You might throw them a few bucks on some video games and call yourself a good dad. But like right now, you're a piece of shit. You're blaming your financial difficulty and loss on those children when we've seen you smoke copious amounts of pot, and pot is expensive. We've seen you spend way too much on a Durango, and what you're saying is your payment does not make any sense. We see you pay triple the cost of what you should in an apartment. We see you never make food at home. We see you buy a PS5. We see you, buy other electronics and gadgets and computers, buy other people computers like Meg's a computer, all sorts of stuff. And you're telling me that children are expensive. I think children are expensive, but the children that you're thinking of aren't those little boys. Those are you. That is Shani and you. And if G-Man won't tell you this, if Veckel won't tell you this, if Gentleman Pioneer, whatever that new guy is, won't tell you this, I'll tell you it. It's not the boys that are causing the problem. It's your unwillingness to buckle down and be an adult. That's the problem.
With Shani, and then I inherit a family, and then you lose your money. And then I gained a family. And when you're taking care of two kids as opposed to a bachelor, me alone, and I got with Shani, and then I inherit a family, and then you lose your money because kids eat your money up.
Goddamn kids
It's not
eating.
anything Shani
How
did.
dare you eat kids?
It's not anything I did with riotous living. Folks, my mom was dead years, and I had grew the money as a bachelor. I didn't do riotous living. But when you get a family, that stuff
No. It's not when you get a family. It's when you get a Shani, and then you act like Shani.
happens. So I say all that to explain what happened. That we're not scamming, that there's no secret accounts or bank accounts or anything like that, that I'm legit broke. And would I do it over again? And would my mother support what happened with the money? All of those answers are yes. Because I was taking care of a family. Do you get what I'm saying, folks? I was taking care of a family. So my mother was a Christian woman. One of the most amazing Christian women that I ever met. So of course. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's it, guys. All right, let me get here. I love you. I'll close with this for you. You check out the moon in Colorado, man. It's pretty awesome. There's the moon in the daytime. Get a nice steady shot. So thank you, Jules. God bless. Like, how could you not believe in God when you see the moon like that? It's beautiful. God bless you, Jules. Thanks for the cigarettes. Thanks for the help. Jesus is coming. God bless. So I get
So I'm going to highlight this one more time.
money up. It's not anything Shani did. It's not anything I did with riotous living. Folks, my mom was dead years. And I had grew the money as a bachelor. I didn't do riotous living. But when you get a family, that stuff happens. So I say all that to explain what happened. That we're not scamming, that there's no secret accounts or bank accounts or anything like that, that I'm legit broke. And would I do it over again? And would my mother support what happened with the money? All of those answers are yes. Because I was taking care of a family. Do you get what I'm saying, folks? I was taking care of a family. So my mother was a Christian woman. One of the most amazing Christian women that I ever met. So of course. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's it, guys. All right, let me get here. I love you.
All right. So that was interesting to watch. So what was interesting is he reiterated something that he had said 3 or 4 times in the 20-hour stream, and it was something that had really bugged me and rubbed me the wrong way. Now, I guess the question would be, if you're a Christian and you're dealing with somebody that has had poor impulse control on finances and they're struggling and they're having problems and they have a family, right? It's not just like Rob and Shani go live in the car. Like, you're dealing with, like, there's 2 kids. What do you do in that situation? It's not like I don't feel for the kids. I do. And what Rev said just hurts me for the kids, right? Just you cost me money and things were great before I had you, right? So what do you do to help people that are financially incapable of showing any restraint, that are unable to deal properly with money, that spend it liberally? And maybe he is broke. Let's just assume he's broke. There's no secret accounts. Let's assume that's tapped out. What do you do then? Like, if I give money to him, I'm enabling somebody that's been a racist, somebody that has been nasty and cruel to people recently, somebody that is abusing their spouse verbally, and that spouse is most definitely abusing him verbally and physically. Because that Colorado arrest video, we know Shani's hit him before. I don't want to enable that. At the same time, I do understand, kids need to eat. So I did say to Shani, like, if you want somebody to give, maybe having a restrictive nature to the giving might enable some people that are concerned to even consider it. So one would be, a grocery list where it's just going to groceries only. And there's no buying smokes, there's no extra toys involved. It's not an Amazon wish list for nonsense. It's just legit food. But then they're saying, no, we're good on food. We don't need food. Okay. All right. Maybe you have food stamps because y'all didn't actually get married. I know that. I know that you jumped over a log and then called yourself married and act like you're married, but you're not actually married. So probably there's some sort of financial aid, I would guess, that would be lost if you actually did get married. But we will just ignore that part. I also have to ignore the part where you actually own a house still, Jason. So you own a house, you just don't live in it. You own a house and pay for an apartment elsewhere. Most people don't have 2 residences. And you can say that that house is dilapidated and run down or whatever, and it's going to cost money and work to fix, but you have one. So there's that. We also know you have an apartment that you're overspending on. There's that. We also know you live in an incredibly expensive state. You moved from an affordable state, which is Pennsylvania, to a state that is just as expensive as California. Colorado is not cheap. And so we know a few things that make it a scratch our head at you, like, well, what do we do with this? So I would imagine that if I were your Christian brother or sister trying to help you through this quandary, I would treat you like we did some people at church. So we actually had a program, and this will make you freak the fuck out. You will hate this. But we had a program. We dealt with a lot of people that were really struggling with poverty, and with poverty comes sometimes some impulse issues when you actually come into money. And so we had this class where they had to take, which was called life skills class. And in life skills class, they learned how to go to work, how to get a job, how to fill out a resume, get a job, how to maintain a job. They would have almost like a job coach with that. And then they had a financial advisor on how to deal with their money and their finances. And that person would be like, I need financial help. And then for X amount of time, they would actually hand over their finances to somebody that would handle their finances for them and give them an allowance. I kid you not, that happened. It actually worked for people. It actually worked for people. That is something that I know that you wouldn't be down with, but like that is an alternative for people that have no ability to control themselves, no ability to put a damper on their spending and control themselves. And usually there are people that have bipolar, people that have BPD, people that have some trauma, people that have never learned how to handle this stuff and do life and be an adult. And so it's tough, it's hard, right? But like maybe that's what you need. You need a life skills class, like somebody to hold you accountable, somebody to show you how to navigate it, how to save money, how to actually cook a meal for your family instead of door dashing, that kind of shit, and that takes work and accountability. And so maybe you need somebody to show you accountability is my thought. Well, I have another video I was going to show here. And I guess this would be the Shani segment of this. But it's really both of them. I found this more than interesting to watch. So let me play this next. Let's see here, screen share. And
he just expects me to get over it.
What would you like me to do, person in chat? You want me to cut my wrist like my wife does sometimes? Would you like me to cut my own wrist?
Wow.
Would you like me to self-mutilate? What do you want me to do? I said, I'm sorry. I reacted badly to being in severe pain. I don't care what you people think. Do you realize you lie so much? Why would I care about anything you say? Anything.
Wow.
I'm not going to cut myself or self-mutilate.
Wow.
I'm not going to do it.
Wow.
What do you want me to do to make it better, Shani? What do you want me to do to make it better? What would you like me to do? You silent? What do you want me to do?
"5 minutes from death, dancing with the devil." I don't know what that video is, but I'm gonna turn it off because I don't want to dance with the devil today. That was funny. That was weird. So in that video, I guess that does showcase Rev more. In that video, Rev was saying, "Do you want me to cut myself like my wife does?" That was so random. Like, that was weird. That was weird to callously put like self-harm out there, just fling it out there for the internet. I mean, I know that Shani already flings it out there, but like I'm just like it blows my mind. I don't think I've seen that in another couple before, and I was just watching it going, "What? What is this?" And then let me see here. There's so much more from that 20-hour video. Unfortunately, it's hard to like figure out where it all is right now. So like I couldn't dig too far down for that one. But I have this, and I thought this video was hilarious. This is from Burnt Toast. If you don't know who Burnt Toast is, definitely subscribe to her. She's not only funny, and witty and spot on, but she can give you the rundown of the nonsense people are up to in like 2 minutes flat. Like it's really great. So definitely sub to Burnt Toast. Anyway, here's this video. I found it funny. This was put out July 11th, 2020, so it's a little bit older, but found it interesting to watch today. Let's see here. We are professionals here at Ollie Spackle's channel. We have totally got producers to put up things and cue things and everything. Hang on.
I know what love is. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is.
Look at Shani laying there. Shani's just laying there apathetically.
I want you to show me. I know you can show me. Sorry.
Can I see?
I mean, there's not really any red marker or anything.
See the state of their old apartment before the rest video? Like no wonder why they lose key fobs, okay? The key fobs are underneath the debris.
It's like on the top is where you hit? Okay. I'm sorry, what's that?
He started throwing things around and acting psycho, saying he wanted his car.
It'll take a little time. Tell me.
Okay, the guys came back here and he made some threatening gestures.
Yeah, he kept raising. He went to bed. He went to the bed right away.
Okay.
And he kept raising his hands at me, and I'm like, I'm scared of you. Please stop. He needs help.
Okay. Besides, like drink.
I want to remind you guys in this arrest video that is being clipped. This is Shani calling the cops. The cops come to the house, and she's calling the cops because supposedly Rev is hitting her. Well, in the end of this arrest video, Shani actually ends up arrested, and the cops are talking about Jason and asking him about bruises and why he's being hit at home.
What other?
I don't know.
What do you see him going through?
He hears things and sees people at night.
Okay.
And then he's like paranoid that everyone's watching him. Like there's cameras in him. He thinks there's cameras. There's back camera there, but it's YouTube. No, he thinks there's literally cameras all over the house sometimes.
Okay.
He goes through these stages where he sees and hears things.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do. It scares me, and it's like tonight he just got so like aggressive toward me. He started throwing the garbage, so I gotta clean that up. Just I was doing laundry.
I'm gonna know where that love has finally found me.
He smacked your hand away?
He did this smack on my arm, and I thought I hurt him by accident. Didn't know that. Then I did it again, and then he did it again.
Were you kind of digging your nails into him, trying to get his hand, or?
No, I just wanted to hold his hand.
I want to hold your hand.
Once or?
Several times, like 5 times he smacked it. And it's just, I just wanted to hold his hand. I just wanted a good day.
In my life, there's been heartache and pain.
Maybe he's lying that he doesn't remember what he did. Maybe he does. He does remember and he's lying.
Well, that's definitely a possibility, but.
What do you think I should do?
Alright, so tonight during the argument and things like that, did you lay any hands on him?
I did slap him
You did.
I did slap him. What?
Across the face.
I didn't know what to do.
A few moments later.
This is ridiculous. I get put in jail and he hits me. Why didn't he be in charge? He hit me too.
He's saying he didn't touch you, then...
I did say he touched me several times.
And then...
I said he slapped me several times.
You're not saying you hit him, but he's saying he hit you, so we kind of got...
I slapped him across the face. I didn't think it would be that hard.
Unfortunately.
Since the police determined Shani lied to the 911 operator and lied to police in what seemed like an attempt to get Jason arrested and/or committed, when she was actually the aggressor, she was charged and pled guilty to domestic violence. As of July 2020, Shani is still on probation with more court dates scheduled.
I don't know if I could face it again. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far. Changed and lonely life.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Okay, that was Burnt Toast. Subscribe to Burnt Toast. She's excellent. She's funny. And both Burnt Toast and Jules give me a chuckle here and there. They make really, really horrific situations at least something that you can laugh at instead of cry about. So we have a situation where we have two people who want to be YouTube famous, who are having domestic violence issues in the past, and obviously are cruel to each other. We saw the 20-hour stream and how Shani attacks Rev for having baby carrot, and how he tells her to fuck off and die when he eats a very hot chip. And we see all this stuff go down, and then now we're supposed to give money to them because they don't know how to save money or to live within their means. So yeah, I mean, I guess I would suggest if you have any life advice for Rev that might be helpful on how to actually be an adult, maybe put that down in the comments here. I think that, you know, there are churches that, again, have life skills classes. I think, honestly, something like that would be helpful. I don't know if you know of any other options outside of churches that do something like that. As far as accountability goes, I would imagine that it would be important for Christians that help Rev and Shani to hold them accountable, that spousal abuse going both directions is not acceptable. Blaming your financial problems on children and not taking responsibility for your consumerism and buying PS5s at like full blast rates, like right when they release, probably, you know, isn't the best way to go about your finances. So I guess what I'm shocked about is the lack of Christians that actually hold these people responsible and actually ask something of them. Blows my mind. I think it's crazy. Anyway, that's my rant, my open letter to Jason that will end up in getting me blocked, I'm sure. Rose says she was saying shitty things to him all day, like reading the chat comments to get him going. She purposely was trying to get him pissed, then claimed to be a victim of him. I absolutely do agree. One thing that Shani seems to really like, and I can't wrap my head around this, is she likes to humiliate her husband. You get that she gets that smirk on her face and that little twitch, and she humiliates him. And that's why he gets, I mean, it's not excusable when he gets like ridiculously over the top. You need to die and abusive and stuff. But that's why he's getting the low key angry, right? The humiliation part. Gosh, if you want to destroy a marriage, Shani, go ahead and humiliate your spouse. Just keep doing it. I mean, that's a sure way to kill it. So yeah, that's a good point. So I guess I could play a video to play us out. Yeah. Let me find something interesting. Let's see here. Let's see here.
Hey, folks, it's your friendly Reverend Dude individual with that Revelation News organization. And, well, I'm kind of in need right at this particular moment because what I am is I'm a chain smoker. So my problem is now I have no income right now. And people keep saying get a job. Well, it's kind of hard in COVID getting a job right now. I live in an area that like it's wall to wall old folks and younger folks that they take up the jobs pretty quick in the area I'm at. But I'm probably going to be working at a dispensary because I pretty much have
Why haven't you
an
gotten your
offer to
card
work
yet?
there pretty much.
Have you applied for
So
your card yet, Jason? Have
I
you
just
applied
need
for
to
your
get the
card?
card, and it takes time,
Did you apply for your card?
But
Did
I
you?
need $8, man. Could somebody be cool for a cigarette fund for Reverend Dude? That's a chain smoker because I've been feeling like, man, I just found one in the can and I was like, praise Jesus. I kept it at the side there.
This is a man that's
while,
too sick to work because of his bad lungs.
So I'm a little bit better right now, but like I was like shaking. It's bad, man. It sucks. I hate it. So if you could cash at me, it's the $ Revelation News. Okay. Hashtag Revelation News. Could you cash at me $8? All I need is $8 is to get a pack of cigarettes. Just $8. Like, that's with the tax. Because I'm getting the cheapest ones I could get, aside from Pyramid, which makes me like really gag. Those things are rough. You know what I mean? I'm smoking Eagle 20s now. Like that's it's $6.80 a pack. That's the cheapest I could get. And then you add in the tax, it's around $7.80 when you get done with the tax. It's around that. So I need $8 for a pack of cigarettes if you could help me out with that. So it's Cash App, hashtag. I love you too. It's hashtag Revelation News. Just $8. And you're helping a reverend get his nicotine
Reverend.
for the Parkinson-y type
Bullshit.
situation. I got shake deals, and it sucks, and that helps. But just help an individual out. I had something else I was going to talk about, but it's eluding me right now. Could you help a brother out? Jesus bless you.
All right. Well, that is a wrap. Jason, stop blaming your children for the internal black hole that is Shani and your consumerism and drug habits. Stop it. Stop it. It's your fault. It is Shani's fault. It is not having kids in this case. This is literally your incompetence.